Welcome to Own the Chaos. The stock market is crazy and chaotic.
And crash. You son of... God. Hold on. Pause.
Brad and Fat Man Zoom are here to help you own it.
They were targeting Wall Street when they should have been targeting Capitol Hill. They should have been targeting DC. This is the same thing, and this is what people keep missing.
Taking it to the suits, being relatable and hilarious.
You bought GameStop at 400, didn't you? To the moon, baby, to the moon.
Get ready to own the chaos in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, and we made it our mission to help you guys own it. It's a boring-ass day today, but we're going to get through it. We have earnings as well. We're going to give our live reactions to, which is going to be Chegg, Take Two, Simon Property Group. We talked about it during Stock Watch Sunday last night, so get ready for that. But before we do anything, folks, as always, let's hit everybody up with the starting five. We got Jeff Chow, John Gosson, so far so good. Fernando Pereira. Yeah, I'm gonna get there, Fernando. I promise. Lindsay Rice, what's up? You guys are our starting five. Lindsay Rice, I haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you. Thanks for showing up and being part of the starting five. If you guys want to be part of the starting five and you haven't been in the starting five yet, hit the notification bell because you'll get notified, and then you might actually end up showing up nice and early in the live stream, and you can get a shout out from me. So what's up, everybody? How you doing? How was your weekend? Hope it was good. Mine was. And I'm ready for this week. There's a lot to chat about as far as the CPI inflation concerns, and we kind of chatted about that last night. If you didn't catch that during Stock Watch Sunday, definitely go ahead and check that out. But super excited just to kind of chat about it and just to talk about it as we get closer and closer to those CPI numbers. I imagine that we're going to see some volatility as far as that's concerned, but I'm looking at SPY right now. It was actually kind of green all day for the most part. It started out red and it was green for most of the day. And now it's down about, 0.25%. It's just, that's how exciting today has been. It's just been flat basically all day. So hopefully we see some excitement in the earnings. I'm kind of looking forward to Take Two. Take Two Interactive, I think is going to be interesting, especially because, as we already know, Activision's being bought by Microsoft. And, what does this mean for Take Two and kind of like their competitive edge, and how they're going to continue to, how they can, sustain, and then how they're going to continue to take up market share. Be curious to see how they do today. Let's take a look at the chart. Right now, we're looking at Take Two, and it's like 175. We're about 10 minutes from the close or so, and it's basically doing what everything else has been doing. This is the daily chart here, and it's flat. I mean, it just hasn't gone anywhere. Monster day on Friday, though, and so it makes sense that we're seeing some consolidation, but I'd be curious to see how that plays out. There's been a couple of other things, too, that went on today. We briefly touched on yesterday as far as Peloton, right? The commotion that's been going on with Peloton, especially with them possibly being bought out. We have Nike that's interested in putting a bid for Peloton. We also have Amazon that's interested in putting a bid in for Peloton, and Apple might be forced to kind of do the same. We'll see. I mean, Apple's not one to just go out and start buying companies up, but if they feel like they're threatened, especially when it comes to the health and fitness side of their business, I mean, if one of them buys Peloton, that's definitely a threat, right? I think that's certainly got to be on their mind. And so when we take a look at that, I think that'll be interesting to watch that play out. A couple other things today, though. Peloton also, by the way, has earnings tomorrow, which we'll be giving. I'll be live for as well, 3:45 p.m. as always, Monday through Thursday. So, guys, make sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because we'll be giving our live reaction to that. Penn National, the casinos have been doing extremely well today. Penn National, has up 5% almost. Is this finally the bottom? I talked about it last week. I thought this 37 could finally be the bottom. It doesn't look like we're going to be closing over the 50-day moving average, which kind of has me a bit bummed. I mean, we haven't been above the 50-day moving average since October 22nd to be exact, but we're close. And I think that, if this trend continues, if things continue to get bought up tomorrow, maybe we see a close above the 50-day tomorrow. That could really start to get things ramped up, especially as we get closer and closer to the Super Bowl this Sunday, the biggest sports betting event of the year. So I imagine there's going to be some more excitement generated by that. MGM, by the way, I put MGM on the watch this last week as it was sitting down here at the 50-day moving average as well. If you guys didn't get that watch list, I'd highly encourage you to go check out the join button next to subscribe, or if you want to go ownthechaos.com, you can get that watch list that I put out every single morning, and it's super cheap, guys. I mean, you got nothing to lose other than $5 a month. I mean, could you think of things that you spent more than $5 a month on and you regretted? At least this is going to help you make money, right? So hit that join button next to subscribe, or go to ownthechaos.com. Help support the channel. Everything you see behind you. You get the watch list. You get the Discord. You get access to my portfolio and private live streams. Tons of value there, and for not a whole lot. Might not, and it's not a whole lot to you, but it means a whole lot to me. So I certainly would appreciate it if you guys became part of the Chaos crew. Okay, so the casinos have done really well. You know what else is doing well today? The industrials, Spirit Air Systems, and then Boeing also doing really well. Boeing is up 2.5%. Let's take a look at Boeing right now. I think this is kind of going to be the trend. I talked about it at the beginning of the year that I thought that industrials could start to make a bit of a turnaround. And we all know, here's the daily chart on Boeing. We know like the trend here has not been great, right? It's just continued to come down. I think we could start seeing this thing ramp back up. They've talked about increase in production, being more efficient in that way, and increasing the amount of jets they put out. We know they have the orders. The backlog is the problem. And so if they can get that sorted out, which it seems as if they are, then I think something like a Boeing could continue to do well. And as you guys know, my favorite one that I'm in that's not in Boeing is Spirit Air Systems. This is the chart here. Very interesting. This looks like it's on the verge of a breakout here. I actually put this in the watch list this morning as well, and it's been on there several times before that, but I could really see the breakout here taking place. If we close above that 48.50, which it's looking like it's going to happen, I think that this could be the start of a breakout. We'll see, but this sideways channel obviously has been painful. If we break this out though, guys, look at this. Here's the monthly chart. Okay. This is where it was pre-pandemic. We're all the way up here at $90 a share, right? So there's a lot of room for this to run, especially if we start to see more and more production numbers. And that was kind of the theme when we saw earnings from Spirit last week. So it's been doing really well since then. Even though they missed earnings per share, the outlook was very good. And we always talk about that, right? Even though, sometimes earnings might not be good on the surface or in that previous quarter, outlooks can change everything. And that's kind of what was going on with Spirit Air Systems last week and into this week. Checking in with you guys, looking at some of the comments. Walter says, what's everyone's thoughts on oil prices? Won't go to a specific stock, seeing how they are all generally following the same path as the leader ExxonMobil, but I feel like we can see another 25% grow in 2022. I think there's definitely a case that can be made as far as that's concerned. I think $100 oil is inevitable. I think that there's a very high probability we see $100 oil maybe before the end of the month. I mean, we're at what, 92, 93 right now? Let me just double check that and see where we're at there with oil prices right now. It's actually down a little bit. It's down 1%. So 91.41. I saw this morning it was in the $92 range. So a little bit of a pullback there, but there's no reason for me to really believe that there isn't, how do I put this? That there isn't any reason why it doesn't go to 100. OPEC just had their meeting last week. Everything's status quo. They're not changing anything. They're not increasing production. The only way that this changes is if the U.S. decides that they're going to increase their production. And it doesn't seem like that's happening anytime soon either. So I think that as long as demand continues to stay where it's at, and honestly, I think that it probably increases going into the summer months because travel is probably going to be ridiculous. I would imagine that we see most restrictions being lifted barring any kind of crazy variant that might come out, but it doesn't seem like that's likely. And so, I think travel is probably going to be as strong as it's ever been this year, which is why I own Airbnb personally, but I also energy. I have Marathon Oil. If you don't want to own a specific stock, I think that's fine. You could go after an ETF such as the XLE or the OIH. The XLE is the energy ETF. The OIH is the services ETF or oil services ETF. That has like a Halliburton or Schlumberger, some of the other ones in there as well. And the XLE has your Chevrons, your Exxons, Marathons, and that sort of thing. So there's also an exploration ETF that has the major players in there too. So that's XOP if you guys want to check that out. But those are all going to be ones that I think do well in this environment. I don't think that it's slowing down. There's some people that make the argument that, well, once winter's over, demand will kind of wane a little bit. And maybe that might be the case on like natural gas, for example, but oil, nah, I don't see that happening. And I challenge anybody to try to argue that, unless, like I said, the only thing that happens is if they increase production, but nobody's looking like they're willing to budge on that either. Great question though. I thought that was good. All right. Just checking on some of the other comments here. Yeah, I saw Jeff Panicka says depends on the move. Good stuff. I like it. Boeing derivative plays SPR and HXL. I haven't ever actually looked at HXL, but yeah, that would be one to check out too. So the 79 of you guys in here, looks like some more and more people are starting to work their way in. Let's check out the charts here. The market is about to close here. And let's check out the SPY, see where we're at. So actually looking like there's some selling going off into the end of the day. Pretty decent drop. Look at this. The SPY was sitting at 451. That was green on the day, and a pretty strong sell-off. Not really sure the reason as to why. I haven't seen anything, but this has kind of been the theme, right? We've seen some extreme volatility in the markets, and this just kind of seems like par for the course, really, since the first of the year. So looking at the daily chart, though, I still think it looks great. I mean, I was hopeful that we would close above 450. Does not look like that's going to happen, but the SPY is holding above the 200-day moving average. Let me move these lines here so you guys can see that. SPY is still holding above the 200-day moving average, which I think is actually a great sign. It's going to do that again today. So it's been really choppy, obviously, but it held that support at around 425 a couple weeks ago. And I think that this is actually looking up. I think that we could very easily see a nice little rally towards the end of earnings season. And really all this month is going to be a bunch of earnings. I know that we've got through some of the heavy hitters last week, but this is going to continue to do really well. We got lots of other great companies that are reporting this week. As you guys know, we talked about it last night. We got Disney, Peloton. Shoot. I just lost it. Disney, Peloton, a couple of other ones that are worth taking a look at this week. And then next week there's a bunch of retailers. So like there's going to be a ton of stuff to take. Oh, Affirm's this week too. Yeah. So Affirm's going to be an exciting one too. That's on Thursday. Oliver Thorpe says, I really popped up today and then straight back down. Do you think it's a buy before earnings? I think the risk reward's good. I do. I wouldn't like buy a full position size, whatever that might be for you on Affirm, but you look at the chart and you look how much this has come down. And I would say that, yes, I think there's definitely a good possibility that Affirm does well through earnings, even if they're reporting losses still. And you guys know that. I've stayed away from stocks that report that don't report positive earnings in this environment. I think Affirm could be an exception to the rule, only because of just how fast they're growing and the amount of interest they've gained from huge players, right? And we've talked about this. Visa, Amazon, Apple, tons of other huge players. Peloton was their number one client for a while until they finally ended up being able to diversify their portfolio of clients and business. So I think that Affirm is in a really good spot right now, especially given how much this has come down. Let's take a look at the chart here, and you can see that it looks like it might have clearly bottomed here around 48. Again, earnings catalysts could ruin this chart. However, if they come in with pretty positive earnings, I think that there's a lot to love here for Affirm. So yes, I would say that the fact that it's held above that 58 support, which honestly, I put this on the watch list last week as well. If you guys want to check that out, go to ownthechaos.com or click the join button next to subscribe. But Affirm was a watch list item that we put in last week. And I had mentioned that 58 is going to be that support, that it seems to have held that over the last couple of weeks. And with the, after it hit its 52-week low, it's held it above that 58 mark. So I really like this here. Watch for a close over 65, because if it does do that, then I think we could see a march towards 73. Certainly, I think that it's possible for us to see a run going into earnings. So even if you just wanted to buy it now and play the hype that maybe goes into earnings and be out beforehand, or maybe be out with just like a partial amount, keep some shares in there, see what you do, then I think that makes a lot of sense too. Karem says if Amazon beat, Affirm will beat 100%. Yeah, see, I think it's a little deceiving. I mean, Amazon's projections were like $3 a share, and they came in at like almost 30. Part of that is, it has to do with their selling of Rivian, that it contributed to a lot of their profits. So that's something to certainly keep an eye on. All right, so it looks like we got some earnings that have come in. Chegg is definitely one of them, and Chegg looks like those earnings are in. It's up 10% after hours already. Huge move on this. This is a pandemic play that went straight to the shitter after things started to get better. And it looks as if Chegg might be going off the chart here. We'll see how this shakes out. But this is the 5-minute chart. I'll go in here and try to find numbers for Chegg. Feel free to share them in the chat if you end up finding them before me. But I'll take to Twitter here and see what's going on with Chegg. Let's see. No official numbers on Chegg just yet. If you guys aren't familiar with Chegg, it's an interesting company. Virtual learning content is basically their business. And, it's that, which is why obviously it did so well during the pandemic and has had a rough time as people have been coming out of the pandemic. So looking like investors are liking the earnings so far. It did shoot up 10%, and it's still up like 7.5. So a little bit of a pullback, maybe some profit taking. As soon as I get those numbers, I'll share them with you guys. I'm still checking them out here. Trying to find those numbers for Chegg. While I'm doing that, let me check in with Take Two. Let's see if Take Two is also looking good. That's up 2% after hours. Looks like those numbers might be in. And then I don't know if you guys are interested, but I really like Simon Property Group too. Not a lot of people talk about this. It's ticker symbol SPG, but I talked about it last night, and I thought that this was a good one as well to definitely keep an eye on. I thought that they were going to continue to rock and roll. This stock has been an absolute monster. If you guys aren't familiar with them, they're primarily involved with malls and brick and mortar retail shopping. It's kind of their shtick. That's the, I think that this is definitely one that continue to own. More and more people are going back to stores to go do their shopping. Stock's up now 2% after hours. Let's look at the 5-minute chart, and that's shooting up as well. So as soon as I get those numbers, I'll certainly share them with you. But that is moving up very nicely now. I don't know why. There we go. Maybe the 1 minute's better. Yeah, let's just go with the 1 minute, I guess. All right, so what do we got? Buzz Jones likes himself some SPG. So there's SPG, and then Take Two is up now 4% after hours. And let's go back and check out Chegg. As soon as those numbers come in, I'll share them with you. I'm going to go ahead and give it a refresh. Let me see if I can find them. Chegg's numbers. I don't see anything. I don't even know if their numbers are out yet. Maybe this is just a reaction here, but this is kind of crazy. Let's look up their expected earnings per share. So the expected earnings per share is 31 cents. Expected revenue is around 195.2. Take-Two's is let's see here. Take-Two's expected earnings per share is $1.23, 879. We'll just call it 880 million is the expected revenue. And then SPG or Simon Property Group is also let's see here. 1 second. $1.44, 1.24 billion in revenue is what they're expecting. That stock, that company is giant. And people don't even realize how big they are. They really don't. Take-Two. Let's look at it, see how we're doing. Stock is up only about 1% now. A huge spike to 187 after closing the day at 175. Let's see. So let's see. It looks like they missed earnings per share, which is weird. I think that this looks like the right. Hold on. Let me take that back. I'm getting different numbers here. Let's see. Revenue grew 6% year over year to 187 million. So it looks like they might have beat on revenue. Maybe. I want to confirm this. Hold on 1 second. As we're getting those numbers in. Here we go. 207. So they actually missed on revenue. So 207 million, 207.5 million versus the 195 expected. Sorry. So they beat. So they did beat, and they actually beat on revenue too. So it's a solid beat across the board. Chegg beat on earnings per share, 38 cents versus 31 that was expected. So pretty good stuff there. Stock's now up 15%. Looks like their guidance was actually quite good as well. What a move on Chegg. Anybody in Chegg by the chance? Anybody make the move on Chegg? Oh, thanks, Scott. There you go. I'd be curious to see if anybody's in Chegg. I played it back during the pandemic, the heights of the pandemic. I was in Chegg. But yeah, here we go. It's a good number too. 4.6 million number of Chegg service subscribers increased 5% year over year. That's pretty solid given, the tumultuous time they went through last year with kind of things starting to sort of reopen, right? So interesting stuff there on Chegg. So Chegg crushed earnings, it looks like. It looks like their outlook might be good too. If more news comes in on that, I appreciate you sharing it. And I'll continue to share it with you guys. But thanks, Scott, for the info on that. Next is going to be Take-Two. Let's see if those numbers are out. And they are estimated earnings per share of $1.24. They beat the $1.23, so just barely beat on earnings per share. Revenue is 866 million. They missed that. If you guys recall, I said 879 or 880 was kind of what they were looking for. So Take-Two actually missed on revenue, but beat on earnings per share just barely. Tough stuff. The stock is now selling off a little bit. It's now red in after hours trading. It's only down around 0.5%, so not crazy, but obviously not good either. Take-Two hasn't really done much here. We're curious as to why this spiked up, but doesn't look like that matters. It's kind of selling off. Again, it's early. We're only about 9 minutes into the close, and they just released earnings, so there could be a lot that takes place. Conference calls, that sort of thing, that we'll have to wait around for to get a clearer picture on their outlook. But those are the numbers there for Take-Two. Again, $1.24. They beat expectations on that. That was $1.23. Revenue was 866 million. They missed the expectations that were 879. So I think that's probably the more concerning number, is missing on revenue rather than missing on earnings per share. Be curious to see why they actually missed on revenue, why they came in short on that. And then I'll go ahead and try to find Simon Property Group as well. Here we go. Simon Property Group. Earnings per share, $3.09. The expectation, I believe, was much lower than that. Let me pull that back up. Well, $1.34. So did they miss? No, they crushed it. What the hell? What the hell am I thinking? They crushed earnings. So 309 was earnings per share. The expectation was $1.44. So they came in double what the expectation was. Revenue was 1.33 billion actual. The expectation was 1.24. Let's go back to Simon Property Group. Simon Property Group. I had to get it out of there. It's sold off here. Interestingly, it's now down 1.8%. But those numbers are phenomenal. If those are the true numbers there. Yeah, Buzz. So Buzz Jones says SPG sold quick. The thing of it is that it's actually pretty low volume. So I don't know if I would put too much into that. I wouldn't read too much into that. But those numbers are phenomenal. Those numbers, doubling expectations on earnings per share. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Let's check back in. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Buzz. He says that REITs are the closest thing you can get to real estate without buying it. That's a fair point. Yeah, SPG, I think, is going to continue to do really, really well. There's 123 of you guys hanging in here. So if you haven't hit the like button already, please do so. I certainly would appreciate it. Let me check to see how many we got. Got 37 likes. If you guys could hit that thumbs up, I would appreciate it. Also, if you haven't checked it out yet, make sure that you're going to ownthechaos.com and getting your watch list, getting the watch list game on. If you guys want to be a part of the crew, if you're not already, you can see some of the people that are in the chat already. They might have a green bull or a green bear next to their name. They are Chaos Crew members. If you guys want to support the channel and get a free watch list, access to our Discord, all kinds of other goodies, it's less than $5. It's $4.99 a month. Tons of value. Not gonna send you to the poorhouse. And if you want to support your favorite channel or your new favorite channel, hit that join button next to subscribe. What's up, Don? How late am I? No, we're not ending yet. But we did cover all the earnings. They came out very fast. All of the earnings that came out right out of the gate. So if you are like Don and you're just showing up, Simon Property Group actually reported earnings and they crushed them, coming at over $3 a share with the expectation around $1.34. They also beat earnings revenue pretty handily as well. Really nice beat there. Take Two also came in and barely beat earnings per share. It came in at what did I say? $1.25 versus $1.24. Somewhere around there. They basically only beat by a penny. They came in and missed revenue pretty handily. And so you can see the stock that's actually coming down. That's now down around 4%. So pretty tough day for Take Two. And then there was Chegg, the real surprising, the winner of the day. That's up 15%. They actually came in on good earnings, and it looks like there was pretty good outlook as well. Great question, Chris. So you might have forgotten, but each time for the longer that you're with us as a Chaos Crew member, your icon will evolve. So if you've been with us for 6 months or longer, then you turn into a green bull. So you start out as a bear, right? Nobody likes the Unders Club, so you got to stick with us for a little while, and then you'll get into to bull status. So if you've been here with us for a year, so if you guys see any of the red bulls next to their names, they've been with us. They've been within the Chaos Crew for over a year, and there's actually another level to that as well. Yeah, different. The longer you're with us, the more that your little logo or your icon evolves. So we need 10 more likes for that 50% ratio, says Don. I love it. Thanks, my man. Yeah, we're at 54 likes, 125 of you guys in here, so we're pretty close. Let's get it to 75. Can we do it? Can we make it happen? Red Bulls have wings, says Darren. Yeah. Brad reminded me of the old days today before Fat Man Zoom. I know, man. It's weird, bro. It's weird. I feel like I'm boring. I feel like I'm boring, kind of talking to myself. But let me know. Am I boring? Do I need to liven it up a little bit? What are we doing? Let me know. What do I need to do? And don't be nice about it. Tell me I'm boring if I'm being boring. All right. Muhammad says Chegg up 15%. Yeah, if you guys didn't check on Chegg, and it's actually looking like it's turning back. Let's take a look back at the chart here. But Chegg came in and actually beat earnings. Surprisingly, this has been a stock that's gotten so beaten down since the pandemic. Look at this. I mean, last earnings, they got absolutely trashed. And it hasn't really done well ever since. But today they're up 15%. Let's look at the daily chart. This is I sat at highs of $115.21 at the very beginnings of last year, around almost a year ago. This was sitting at 115. Closed the day at 27, but it's up 15. It's up 12% right now, up 12.5%, sitting around $30. Looking at the 1 minute chart, just to kind of give you a reaction to those earnings. And you can see it's kind of, we're seeing some profit taking a little bit here, but pretty solid move for Chegg. Pretty solid move. Thanks, Virginia. Appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words and the love. All right. VLDR is up 85%. What is VLDR? I don't know. Drawing a blank here. LiDAR. Oh, do they have earnings? I don't think there's any news. Let me see. Nope. There's just latest news was about an hour ago. Let's see. It's up 89% after hours. Jesus. 89%. You know where we go. Let's go to Twitter. See what we got. Let's see what we can find. VLDR. Amazon gets warrants. Velodyne LiDAR surges after Amazon gets warrants to purchase 39.6 million shares. There you go. That's why it's up. Amazon just took stake in VLDR. That's the news. That's the news on that. Holy shit. I mean, that's crazy. It's up 85% right now. Looks like it was up around 90%. Closed the day at $3.77. Is now it had highs of $7.50 after hours. That's wild. That is wild. All right. Appreciate the kind words, guys. Thanks so much for that. What else are we looking at? Amazon needs to buy Peloton tonight. Says Don. How did Amazon do today? It looked like some of the things were kind of taking a back seat. My Microsoft trade just been really frustrating, just kind of chilling and just sitting on 300, not really doing anything. Amazon closed the day slightly green. Yeah, it's been real boring. Just a boring ass day for the most part. I'm looking at Microsoft. Yeah, sitting right at 300. Painful. Absolutely painful. Just chilling there. I needed Microsoft to hit 320. That's what I needed to do. I needed to hit 320 before March. Check Facebook. Anyone hiring? Yeah, I know, right? I do have some Facebook calls. Nothing too crazy, but I went and got some April calls on Facebook. Not working out. Just an FYI. Not working out at all. We're now obviously 52-week lows, but we're at levels right now that we haven't seen since July of 2020 is where we're sitting at with Meta Platforms, aka Facebook, and it's still red after hours. That's crazy. But what we've seen from Facebook before is like it bounces back. I mean, we've seen a lot of scrutiny with them over the years and on a multitude of topics and areas, but I mean, this seems to be a bit extreme. And they always have to talk about the 3-day rule, right? This is the third day. So it's possible we could see a bounce tomorrow. Great question. Black Caver says, why is Take Two going down? It's down 2%, a little over 2.5%, because they beat earnings per share on their expected earnings per share, but they actually missed on revenue by quite a lot, honestly. I think it was about $15 million. Okay, let's see. Let me double check that. Yeah, earnings per. Well, this is different. That doesn't look right. Yeah, I'm getting a bunch of different numbers. Let's see. But it looked like they just barely beat on earnings and then came in and missed on revenue by quite a lot. So stocks, down 3% right now. It's not looking pretty for them. Yeah, that's what happened. So they beat on earnings per share by like a whole penny and then missed on revenue. 866 million to 870 million. So they missed by like $5 million. Sorry, no, it was I believe according to Yahoo Finance, it was about 880. So 879.5 is what the expectation was there. 866 is what they came in at. So pretty decent miss on revenue, which is never a really good thing. I think I'd rather see them miss on earnings per share versus revenue. Rockstar vice president apparently says that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be special. We'll see how that shakes out. I haven't played Grand Theft Auto in like forever. I can't tell you last time I played Grand Theft Auto, but who remembers Grand Theft Auto like the early days, like the original Grand Theft Auto? I think it was like a middle school. Grand Theft Auto came out. I mean, it was like 2D. It was 2-dimensional. It wasn't even 3-dimensional. The original Grand Theft Auto. If memory serves me correct, it was not. It was 2-dimensional. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was. Okay. Don says I need Pelosi to buy Facebook. Yeah, or Dan Crenshaw. Either one of them. Dan Crenshaw actually outperformed Nancy Pelosi. So either one of them's good. Would really make me feel better. Me too. I'd appreciate it. Somebody phone up Dan. Can somebody tell me why DWAC dropped like a bunch? Did it? Hold on. If you guys don't know DWAC, this is the Trump-related social media platform that he's building, or his people are building, and it dropped quite considerably. I would say this is probably more or less some profit taking. We can take a look at this. Doesn't look like there was any direct news. Maybe it's a giant short that came in. That kind of looks like the trading activity here on the 5-minute. That's kind of what it looks like. Big giant short. And to be honest with you, I can't blame anybody for shorting this because there is no product yet. It's getting a bit crazy, getting out of hand. And a lot of this has to do with, if you guys didn't catch that news, with Rumble, that was interesting. So is it CTFV? Oh, CF. What the heck is that? Oh, shoot. Somebody put it in the chat. It's CT something, maybe, or CF TV, something along those lines. But anyways, the CEO of Rumble basically laid it out there on Twitter that he was offering Joe Rogan $100 million over 4 years to leave Spotify, which, to be honest with you, CFVI, thank you. It wasn't CT, CFVI, thank you. That stock was up like what, 50%? CFVI. It was going to come to me eventually. But basically what happened was he was offered $100 million over 4 years because, with a lot of the drama that's going on with Rogan and some of the cancer culture folks really kind of going at him. But to be honest with you, I don't know. Joe Rogan could literally go off on his own. To me, I don't think that Joe necessarily cares who he's with. I think he just wants to enjoy himself interviewing people about whatever he wants to talk about. And, he apologized for some of the things that was said, rightfully so. I think he should have. Nobody needs to be saying the N-word. But again, it was 10, 12 years ago, and he just basically was just out with it and was like, I shouldn't have said it, whatever. But I don't think he should be canceled because of that. And the Spotify CEO agreed with that. Like he didn't defend Joe's words or actions, but said that, if we just cancel Joe Rogan, it's a slippery slope we lead. And I think that that's true. Again, it was something that was said years ago, and seems like it was taken care of. And so I don't know if Joe Rogan's going to be willing to jump Spotify on $100 million contract, which, by the way, that's also what Spotify has given Joe, with 420 million monthly active users versus a Rumble that has 20 monthly active users. And maybe Joe doesn't care about that, but honestly, like I could see him just going off and doing it himself, figuring something out. Whether, I don't think he necessarily needs to work with anybody. He can stand alone. I mean, hell, who knows? Like he could be anywhere, but that's just my 2 cents. I don't think he actually leaves Spotify at all. So you look at CFEI right now. Let's take a look at that chart, and you can see it sold off pretty hard going into the close. End of the day up 18%, but it was as high as what, like 25, 30%, 35%, somewhere around there. It was a pretty crazy move. My guess is that it probably continues to come down in the short term. In the short term, it probably continues to come down. It's a very fast growing platform though. Rumble is. So, but we'll see. I don't think anything comes with this Joe Rogan offer. I'd be very surprised if it did. Very surprised. Yeah, I don't know if I see that happening. All right. So we're almost there. If you guys could hit that thumbs up, I certainly would appreciate it. We're at 68 likes. I was trying to get to 75. That was the goal. We're 7 away. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up, I certainly would appreciate it if you guys did that. Thanks so much if you have already. But guys, just to recap, we went over Chegg's earnings and they crushed it. Crushed earnings per share, crushed revenue. Take Two came in and they actually missed on revenue by quite a lot, but they beat earnings per share just barely. And then SPG actually ends up tearing it up. They doubled expectations as far as earnings per share is concerned, and then also crushed on revenue. But the stock's actually down still. It's down 3.5%. Not quite sure what the reaction is there, but it's on extremely low volume. Maybe it's an outlook or something like that, something in that report that people don't like. Haven't really discovered that just yet. But yeah. Savvy Money Show says, I've tried the Rumble platform. It's okay, but you can't stream anywhere to use an app to record and upload. Oh, yeah. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of a pain. But House Fat Man, wish him the best, as Andre. Yeah, appreciate that, Andre. He's good. He was actually in the studio today, just kind of hanging out, but he's been taking it easy. We chatted for a bit today, and his procedure looks like it's unofficially going to be on Friday. So we'll continue to keep you updated there, but he's in good spirits. He's just kind of chilling and not really doing a whole lot, just taking it easy. So it's more or less of a waiting game at this point until the day comes for surgery or procedure, whatever you want to call it. And then, yeah, unfortunately, the road's probably not going to be done there as well. There's still a lot of things to happen. He's going to go through further treatment after this takes place, more than likely. We're not going to know if Fat Man Zoom's tumor is cancerous or anything like that until like a week after this procedure gets done. So after they remove the tumor, we won't know if it's cancerous or if it's going to be coming back or anything like that until a week later. So it's still very much like a hurry up and wait. But yeah, Lindsay, it's still surgery. It's just a procedure that requires a less invasive approach, which is through laser. It's going to be a laser removal of the tumor, essentially. Just to kind of put it as basic as I can. So we'll see. It's still going to be very touch and go, and it's going to be a much longer process than just a simple in and out surgery type of thing. So we're going to have to wait on a lot of stuff. But that's the update on him. I kind of talked to him about this, but there's a lot of you guys that wanted to start like a GoFundMe to help with medical bills and stuff like that. So that's something that we're putting into the works. We're putting into motion. If Mike Hudson's watching, I'll be reaching out to you about that. So if you guys want to participate in that, I'll certainly put that up for when it's all ready to go. But I talked to him about it today because I know he's just want to make sure that he was okay with it. And he said, yeah, like he appreciates the love and support, especially even if you guys just want to reach out to him. He's been pretty, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but he's just very appreciative and just didn't realize, how many people actually cared about him, which is pretty cool. And he's just very, he said it's made this process a whole lot easier than he thought it would be. Not that it is easy, but you know what I'm saying? Like it having people around you that love you and reaching out to you like that, I'm sure it makes them feel really good and really special, and just helps along with the process. So good stuff. Absolutely, Andre. All right. That's going to do it for me, guys. Tomorrow we got some interesting earnings as well. Peloton's on the docket. Oh, shoot. Let me pull it back up. There we go. I'm going to pull it back up here. So actually tomorrow morning will be interesting. So I'll give my reactions to tomorrow mornings when I go live tomorrow at 3:45 as well. So we got Pfizer, BP, Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson will be an interesting one. I'm very curious to see how they're dealing with supply chains and that sort of thing. Peloton's in the afternoon. We got Enphase, Chipotle, Corsair, Lyft, XPO Logistics, Spirit Air Systems, which if you guys didn't see the merger news today, that stock went the hell off. That was up 15% this morning. So that's the docket for tomorrow as far as earnings are concerned. Let me know what you guys' favorite ones are. Put it in the comments once I leave the live stream. Yeah, that'll do it for me. I'll see you guys tomorrow again at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time. If you haven't subscribed or hit that notification bell, please do so you get notified when I do go live. Also, if you haven't become part of the Chaos Crew just yet, make sure you're checking out the join button next to subscribe. Become part of the Chaos Crew. It's for $4.99 a month. I put out a watch list every single day. I get up extra early to help you guys out for that watch list. If you're having trouble figuring out where to go to in the mornings when you're looking at the stock market, I got you covered. I actually go through multiple platforms and research this watch list. It's not really something that I just slap together. I do work really hard at it. So if you guys wouldn't mind doing me a solid, hit that join button next to subscribe, or you can also go to ownthechaos.com. You can sign up there as well. You get access to Discord. You get access to live streams, private live streams with me and my trade alerts, as well as portfolio. You can see my portfolio, what I'm holding, and all that good stuff. So, and look, I just said all that good stuff again. You guys got to hold me accountable to that shit. All right, guys, I'll catch you later. See you tomorrow. Bye.